Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, let me introduce myself. My name is Rehtin Ardayana from Group 1. This video is made for the segment of literary reading. In this video, me and my team will explain our reading report. We will explain about the book that we had read, and the title is Behind the Beautiful Forevers Mumbai. Okay, before we start to the presentation, I would like to introduce my team first. Okay, the first one is me, Rehtin Ardayana, and then the next one is Khotma, Auladia, Hanifa, and the next one is Intan Ashlihati, and the last one is Hani Nahdiati. Okay, the first explanation is about summary, and it will presented by Intan Ashlihati.
Alright, hello everyone. I'm Intan. As what Rehtin had said, I'm going to explain or read the first part of our presentation, that is summary of the Behind Beautiful Forevers books. So here is the summary. The story starts with a prologue in the year 2008 in Mumbai, when a teenage boy named Abdul runs from the police. Abdul's father turns himself in so that Abdul has an opportunity to escape, since he is the primary earner for their family. Abdul and his father are charged with setting their neighbor Fatima on fire. Later, the charge changes to encouraging her to set fire to herself. Abdul and his father live in a slum, in such a slum named An-Nawadi. The slumlord of Auladia is a man named Robert Pyers, but he slowly loses his power, and the person who hopes to become the next leader of the slum is Asha, Rahul's mother. Meanwhile, Asha's daughter, named Manju, tries her best to understand concepts from foreign literature assigned by her college professor, but finds it hard to do so. Some of the people living in the slums do not accept those who come from the north of the country, and there are even instances of violence carried out against the northerners. This makes things even harder for children like Sunil, a 12-year-old scavenger who often sells his garbage to Abdul. Karam, or Abdul's father, starts thinking about arranging a marriage for Abdul, believing that he needs a wife to make him happy. The family also thinks about moving to Vasai, a Muslim community. Fatima is taken to the hospital, where she enjoys being looked after and being given the opportunity to sleep on a bed for the first time in her life. Fatima blames Abdul and his family for her burning, even though Asha offers to settle things for them. Fatima refuses, claiming that she already filed a complaint. When Fatima's daughter reveals the truth about her mother, Fatima changes her statement, claiming that the Husseins drove her to light herself on fire. At the police station, Abdul is being beaten by the police, who warn him that if Fatima dies, he will be charged with murder. In August, Abdul and his father are still in prison, and Zahrunisa, Abdul's mother, tries to raise enough money to get her husband and son out of jail, but is unable to do it. In Islam, people die every day, and Sunil is struggling to make enough to have something to eat. Asha becomes a slumlord in September. In the year following Fatima's death, more women follow her example and set themselves on fire. Towards the end of the year, circumstances become harder as tourism drops in the area due to a string of terrorist attacks. Asha loses her influence as it becomes clear that the slum will be destroyed, but she still continues to try and make money out of the people suffering. At the end of July, Kekashan and Karam are declared not guilty, are allowed to walk free. Abdul's trial is postponed, and he is forced to wait a few years until he receives his verdict. The narrative ends with Abdul admitting Sunil was scavenging for trash. They both decide to take each day as it comes and try to focus on surviving one day at a time. So that's all the summary, and the next part of our presentation will be explained by Khotma. And for Khotma, time is yours.
Now we're going to talk about the issues that we found in the novel behind the beautiful forever Mumbai Undercity are mostly about opportunity, inequality, and corruption. Now look at these points. First, capitalism and globalization initially gave Indians across all social classes hope that more opportunities would be available to them. But in reality, Anawandhians don't have those opportunities. Second, the residents of Anawandi who strive earnestly to pull themselves into the middle class. That's right. They do anything for a better life. They really push themselves hardly to go into the middle class. Third, hierarchies of which residents have access to power and opportunity. Based on the novel, in India society, someone who has privilege can do anything, whereas the Anawandhians, no matter how they struggle and uphold the truth, for example, they will still lose because they don't have the power and opportunity. The last one is living amid such rampant corruption makes it very difficult for people to hold on to any sense of a moral or ethical code. Because of the corruptions, many people there stole and justify various ways to get money. The poor people are treated like trash. Here is the discussion about this point. Point 1 and 2 discuss about opportunity. As you can see in the point 1 tells those opportunities have not proved as transformative to the lives of the poor as they have to the lives of more privileged segment of society. Opportunities for social mobility reward a select few, those who are already of higher social status, and poor people who know how to work the broken system to their own advantage, largely through corruption. In point 2 tells that Manju does through education, or as the Husseins do through their trash sorting business, find themselves kept down by the prejudice and corruption of the very institutions, such as the police and the government, who are supposedly there to help. It proves that they are really want to be a middle class to get a better life by doing that. The next presentation will be presented by Hani Nahdiati. The time is yours.
Okay, I will continue to explain the issue in discussion number 3 and 4. Number 3, a hierarchy of which residents have access to power and opportunity. Men, for example, fare far better than women. Mina, who lives completely under the thumb of her father and brothers, and Fatima, who is disabled and ridiculed by the entire slum, are both driven to suicide by feeling powerless and ignored. For them, choosing to end their life seems like the only choice they can make for themselves. Additionally, the Husseins, who are Muslim, experience obstacles that Hindus in Anawadi do not like. Prison that Abdul goes to after he is falsely accused of murder, for example, is disproportionately full of Muslims, who are more likely to be punished than Hindus. On a related note, who shows how the government system in India that claim to give the poor more opportunities to advance are, in fact, upholding the status quo. Who gives example, such as the government aid agencies that divert aid from their intended recipients into the pocket of wealthy investors, or the court system that depends almost solely on bribes to function, which reward wealthy defendants while condemning poor ones. Though the Husseins, falsely accused of a crime they didn't commit, are judged not guilty. This verdict seems like a fluke in an otherwise corrupt system that keeps the poor disfranchised whenever possible. And the last issue is living amid such rampant corruption makes it very difficult for people to hold on to any sense of a moral or ethical code. Anyone who tries to value selflessness or integrity amid this corruption cannot survive. They must eventually give in to this immoral way of life in order to make it. Asha, for example, fully embraces corruption as one of the only ways to make a better life for her daughter, Manju. Well, Manju herself tries to stay moral but also slips into helping with her mother's corrupt scams so that she can continue to try to get an education. Abdul also tries to be good by refusing to take any trash that he believes is stolen, but he is ultimately unable to keep this up when his family is starving. Corruption will continue. Gu suggests as long as corrupt opportunities are the only opportunities available, and inequality will define Indian society until the government can be held accountable to the value of equality, fairness, and compassion that it provides. Okay, and the next slide will be presented by Rehtin.
Okay, the last one is the conclusion of the book, which title is Behind the Beautiful Forever's Mumbai. Okay, the conclusion of the book is Mumbai is one of the world's biggest and most complicated cities. It boasts luxury, Bollywood, and higher income per capita than the average Indian city, but in stark contrast, it also contains some of the worst slums. One of those is Anawadi slum. The Anawadi slum is home to 3,000 people on a small patch of swampy land near the Mumbai airport. People living here in devastating poverty. Many live with little to no shelter. Wasps and rats surround them. Family make a few dollars. People in the Anawadi slums live in a dangerous life with almost no basic human rights. Corruption is lurking around every corner and barbaric is needed for everything. Many dream of a better life, but can't escape what is beyond their control. Okay, I think that's all our explanation about the reading report with the book that we had read, which is the title is Behind the Forever Beautiful Mumbai. Thank you for watching and I'm sorry for our mistakes. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.